Hello, welcome back to the podcast. So this week I am interrupting my plans to bring a topic that I just want to share because I have created a system for creating content, batching content, and I've talked about my tips in the past for efficiency and organisation. I always mention the idea of a content bank, and going back 4.5 years when I started this business, this was one thing that blew the minds of some of the people that were in the networking group that I was running at the time, and that actually led me to become a business coach alongside my daily method of operation. If you've not heard of that one, you need to check out my YouTube channel. There's a video on there. I'll have to do an episode on it as well. But yeah, so I'm going to go through that today because although I teach this to my clients and I have delivered this inside my membership, I wanted to go roughly through the process here on the podcast for free so you can get this value, because this is a game changer and it means that you'll never ever run out of content. And it's something that I practice what I preach. So this week, for example, I have a busy week. So at the time of recording this, and this episode will go out this week actually, so it's very, very current, and I like keeping them current. I'm about to go on holiday and I've got a busy week, so I'm at home today, in the office, or working from the couch, because sometimes I do that, creating content. Folks, so I'm going to bring you 2 podcast episodes today for this week and next week, so it covers while I'm away. And tomorrow I'm creating content again, I guess, because I'm heading over to Doncaster. I think it's at Canley Park, I don't know, with my photographer Becky at Barrel of Photos, and I'm doing my monthly shoot there. And I'm going to use the time, because I'm getting the train anyway, turn it into a work day. So I'm going to use the time before and after to do some co-working. I'm going to head over to Highfield Coffee Social, going to do some work, have some lunch, go for my shoot, go back, do some more work, because I've got a meeting before I head home for my train. I might as well make a day of it, get some work done, because otherwise it'll just interrupt my day and I'll spend the day travelling and get nothing done. So that's a little tip for you there, for efficiency as well. A Wednesday, I have another shoot because I'm greedy, with Zoe, who is my content girl, and we are filming and shooting in Leeds. So it's going to be a morning type event. Really looking forward to this. Got my friend Jan coming with me. It's going to be fun, all the vibes, got loads of props, can't wait to use them. Getting really creative with these, so I'm doing that on Wednesday, and then the afternoon I'll probably like tidy up the house or pack for the holiday, finish packing, and then Thursday it's my son's leaving assembly. He's leaving primary school, so for those of you that are mums that right now your children are leaving school too, like I wonder if you feel how I do. Like honestly, it's unbelievable, and I'm like thinking, oh my god, I'm probably going to end up bawling my eyes out there. So if you see me Thursday online, probably might have tears in my eyes. And Friday, I'm off networking and co-working again. So I love it when my schedule looks like this, and I want everybody else in business to have a schedule that they look at, they love, they're excited about. And the strategy I'm sharing with you today is something that I've created myself, and I want this to help you get that feeling, because this is helping me this week. So because we're off on holiday on Saturday, so we're going to be away from Saturday for the next 7 days, one of the problems with that is, obviously, when I go on holiday, like I won't be doing work stuff. I'll probably check in like at the end of the day with any messages I've got or notifications. But I tell all clients and I tell my team that I'm on a holiday. I set that boundary. Like I will not, if they put a question, that's fine, but I will leave it unread until I'm back on the 28th. That's the boundary I set. And that's really important. If I travelled all the time, that'd be different. But this time, it's family, it's a holiday, I'm closed. So I need to be able to prepare, and I like to prepare. I like to be organised and have content scheduled out. Last year on our holiday, I took my audience with me on the holiday, which was really nice. My views increased massively, which is what I love it for, because people love seeing behind the scenes of what you're doing. However, this time I won't be, and the reason is because we've got family with us, and I don't want to publicly put that on social media. So I'll be waiting until I get home. But yeah, so I need to be prepared. So I'm going to get my content ready beforehand, get it scheduled out beyond next week as well. I want it to go into the third week. So this week, next week, the week after, so that when I get home, I don't have to worry about it. Because we all know what it's like. You've got a mountain of washing to wash. You've got suitcases to put away. Probably, if you like us, you've probably got a house that needs tidying. So when you come back, it's like a bomb has hit it. And everybody will probably be tired, and we'll probably need to wind down next weekend. So my plan is to get super freaking organised, because it's what I'm good at, to allow me to have the content go out there so that I can still get sales inquiries, so that I can still reach people, still connect with people, even though I'm on holiday. And one of the ways I do that is through having this content system in place. So I'm going to talk you through my content banking system. This is a strategy to make sure that you never run out of content. So if you're listening right now, I would highly recommend getting a pen and paper, or if you're not able to sit and write, for example, you're driving, you're in the gym, wherever you might listen to your favourite podcast, which hopefully is mine, you might want to come back to it, or you might want to pause and come back to it at a time where you can take notes, because this is a method that is going to help you. So the reason I want to talk about it is because I see a lot of the time people, when they are launching something, or even just between launches, or marketing, part of marketing is content, they struggle with ideas for what to write, what to share. But for this reason, actually, I am thinking about solving this problem by bringing to my membership a content session every month. I sit and do this with myself, so I want to kind of bring it to my clients as well and co-work with you guys. So if this is something you want, please message me on social media. I hate when people don't tell me. I need to know. So if this is something that you'd find valuable, a content co-working session once a month, send me a message and let me know, because it is something that I am considering bringing into my membership. And by the way, the name of the membership is changing. It's going to be called Strategy to Sales. So watch this space. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's talk you through the strategy. So, number one problem is people run out of ideas. So I want to help you with that. So the method that I created is, I actually use a spreadsheet, but I have clients that use Trello for this, and you can use whatever format you want. In the membership, I'm going to be talking through the exact way I create my spreadsheet for ease, but then you can replicate that onto a project management system, onto Trello, whatever you want to use. I just prefer the format of a spreadsheet. I'm a spreadsheet queen. I absolutely love them. So yeah, go with whatever you want, but this is what I use. But first, before you even put any content onto the sheet, you actually need to get clear. So for those of you that might not know, I have a framework for resilience and growth. So I apply this to everything. So when you want to grow in an area, so say that is your marketing and your content, then one of the things you might do is you might need to use the CHARM framework. So it's about getting clear. So before you even take the action to create this content bank, you need to get clear about exactly what your business needs to be talking about. And I'm going to walk you through that in a second. The second part of the CHARM framework is honouring your commitment. So it's once you've got clear about that, how are you going to honour your commitment to creating this content? And then it's accepting where you're at. This will apply, like, if you're, for example, feeling that you're not great at content, just accept that and know that you can learn. And then it's about rest and regulation. So this is, if you are going to do a task like this, you're going to organise your content. I want you to do it in a way that's not taking away from something you already need to do, or not do it as a method of procrastinating, because I've done this before. I've seen many people do this. Instead, dedicate the time to it if it is going to solve a problem for you right now. And then finally, take the action. Make the move. So the M is movement in the CHARM framework. Take the action. Make sure you have that dedicated time to create the bank, right? So let's start with the C. Let's start with clarity. I want to talk you through getting clear, because nobody is going to be able to create valuable content that's going to connect with people, that's going to create relatability and represent your brand if you have not first worked on these 3 core business foundations. These business foundations are what a lot of business owners move past. And it's interesting because I read something yesterday in a book that I'm reading at the moment about the kind of person that, the best kind of people that have the most growth is they go over the foundations. And I smiled when I read that, because I go over my foundations. in business, and I've started to realise that even though it's basic stuff, we evolve, our ideal clients evolve, things change, so it's worth going through them again and again. So going back to that, I want to mention those today. I've got some questions that can help you to realign yourself with your value, your vision, and your mission. These 3 things you need to define first before you even think about creating content. If you're creating content right now and it's not sticking, it's not getting engagement, it's not getting you sales, it's not generating leads, you're not getting any inquiries, this will be why, because this is the gap that you're missing. I always say that your brand messaging is going to be the first thing you need to tweak and look at when it comes to your strategy if your content is not landing. And then the other part of that is if the content is great, right, you are getting engagement, you are getting inquiries, then it's looking at the lead generation. But today we're going to focus on the content, which is around your messaging. So it's about, first of all, knowing what your values are as a personal brand, as a business. So I've got these questions to ask yourself to pull your values out. It's about, your values are about knowing what you stand for. So here are your questions. What principles do you refuse to compromise on in life or business? And this is a really good journaling task as well. I do my strategy through journaling with questions like these. Second question. What behaviours or qualities do you admire in others? What makes you feel fulfilled or aligned in your work? What kind of culture do you want to build around your business? When have you felt most proud of your actions or decisions? What types of clients, collaborators, or causes do you naturally align with? And if people were to describe you or your business in 3 words, what would you want them to say? So when you've answered these questions for yourself, you're going to be able to filter down your answers and see some common threads and themes that come throughout your answers, and those will become your values. I like to use myself as an example. So when I did mine, my values are community, impact, empowerment, freedom, creativity, alignment, trust, family, and connection. Those are my values. That I want my business to run adhering to those values. I want everything I do to fit within those values. So it needs to be something that I talk about. So once you've got really clear on those, take note, add them to your content bank, because you can create content for each one of those values. Mind-blowing. It can be as simple as that. So for example, my value of impact, right? I can talk about impact. Let me just pull off some content off the top of my head. So when it comes to impact, I can talk about the impact I have on my clients. I can talk about the impact I have on community, which is another value. I can talk about the impact the work that I do has on my family. Another value. I can talk about the impact the work that I do that has it on myself. I can talk about the impact of personal development, the impact of having a business coach, the impact of investment, the impact of making more money. Do you see how I'm starting to roll these ideas off? And I'm going to use ChatGPT to pull those exact ideas out and put them on my content bank, because I've just spit them out there that didn't have those written down. But that is how easy it gets to be. In a matter of seconds, you can pull out ideas for content. And this is why you'll never run out, because you can brainstorm them, put them in your bank, save them for later. So that's the first one. The second one is your mission. So you want to be talking about your mission within your business. You want to be talking about the themes that come up around your mission. So this is around what you do, for who, and why. And this is always time constructed, if that makes sense, because your mission might change over time. So I want you to think about what your mission is right now, and I've got some questions to help you delve into this. So, who do you serve and what problem do you help them solve? What results or transformation do you deliver? What makes you uniquely suited to help with this? How does your work reflect your core beliefs and strengths? And why does this matter to you and the people you help? Your mission needs to be action driven, and you need to have a statement that grounds your daily work, and this statement you can share with your audience, and you can create content from that as well. So again, pull out these key 3 themes from this, answer those questions, and then you can use that to put it into your content bank. Because again, you're never gonna run out of content. And just giving it some context as well. The first question, who do I serve and what problem do I help them solve? When you write any piece of content, you want to be thinking, who am I serving? You want to speak directly to that exact client. The content that I've been doing recently has gone it's niched down into this even more. I'm going to admit I've been afraid to do this in the past, so you're kind of coming on this journey with me. I've started doing that now. You'll see if you go onto my Instagram feed, if you go onto my Instagram, personal Facebook, you'll see that a lot of my posts are talking about therapists and coaches and who I work with. So I will put something like, when I work with therapy business owners, this is what I see. When I work with coaches, this is the problem they struggle with. And then I answer that and give some context and share an insight, which will be relatable to those people watching who are in that industry that need help with that problem as well. So that is how your content can connect with the right person, who you want to help, how you can help them, or why. So use these questions for your mission to pull that out as well. Okay, let's move on. I want to talk you through the next step with your content bank. So we've covered your values, we've covered your mission and the content that you can do with like the themes of your mission. And then you want to come up with some content pillars as well. And I've got loads on mine, loads on my content bank for this. So what are content pillars? So your content pillars are different topics that your business talks about. And I find this quite difficult. I used to find this quite difficult to be able to pull them out, but I've compiled some questions to help with that. So the first thing you want to do is actually go back to your mission and your vision, because they're all about what you do, who you serve, and why it matters. That'll be the foundation of your content. So from that, you can then take the pillars that you need to be talking about. So it's asking yourself, what are the top 3 to 5 things that you always talk about with your clients? Because the things that you're talking about with your clients are the things that you want to be using in your marketing, the topics you want to be discussing to bring into your work. So one of my easiest examples is a lot of clients that I'm working with right now are in a service-based business, so coaches, therapists mostly, and they are working on a one-to-one basis, and they might have even got a successful business that way. So the thing we're talking about is being able to create multiple income streams, being able to launch a new service, be able to map out your service suite. So then that becomes one of my content pillars, because I'm always talking about that with my clients. Other clients might be talking about lead generation a lot, because people are saying right now that they're struggling to connect with new ideal clients and new people and get visible. So we'll talk about lead generation a lot and that part of strategy as well. So these are 2 pillars that I would put on my content bank, which are on my content bank actually. But then it's asking yourself, what do you actually want to be known for? So for example, for me, I want to be known, and I am known, as the Queen of Business Organisation. So I need to be talking about that, don't I? I need to talk about the effect that, going back to my values, the impacts that organisation has. So you can see how you can cross over the content pillars that you have with your values. That is the best thing you can do, crossing them over. So what do you want to be known for? And what questions do people frequently ask you? These questions are really good. One, for your content on social media, but also to get on your website, because if people are asking you questions, they are searching those questions, which will be really good for SEO. So what questions do people frequently ask you? What topics do you feel most confident, passionate, or opinionated about as well? So for me, one of the most, like, my opinions are around like use of social media in business. I'm really opinionated on that, because I disagree with the premise that we have to post X amount of times a day. We have to post this, spend this amount of time engaging. I just think it's a load of crap. Like, as your business grows, it's just not, you just can't maintain it. So it's something you could talk about. Like, what are you passionate about? What are you confident in talking about? What could you easily talk about and pull out? Like this podcast has not been planned. I find it really, really easy. I've got a few the questions written down, but the rest of it I just riff off, because I can talk about content all day. So yeah, ask yourself that, and ask yourself, what gaps do you see in your industry that you want to fill? Like, that might link to what you want to be known for. For me, it definitely does. The gap I see is that a lot of business coaches in particular are teaching strategy, and they're not actually teaching strategy, to be fair. They're teaching, a lot of people are teaching energy work and healing, but there's not enough of the strategy going on, so that's a gap I want to fill. But also, there's a lot of it that they teach you in a way that will overwhelm and burn you out. And this is why I like to put systems like this content bank in place, so that if someone is telling you to post 6 times a day, it becomes easy because you've got a bank of content. So it's just about that. It's just about filling that gap. So I want you to think about what gaps in your industry you want to fill. And then when you've answered those questions, reflect your values and your expertise, align them with your audience's problems and desires, and that'll give you room to educate, inspire, and sell to people. So you can use these content pillars to tie them into your services. So your content pillars do need to actually tie into your services. For example, I've just asked ChatGPT, give me an example of content pillars for my business, and it says content pillars for a business coach like you are business strategy and organisation. Great, that ties into my membership, leads straight into a service, also kind of ties into my mastermind. Number 2, mindset and confidence for entrepreneurs. Great, that ties into my charm framework, which is actually free, but great. Client success and real life wins. I wouldn't say that's really a pillar, but it's something you want to get on your content bank. It's having your client case studies and things like that on your content bank as well. Number 4 it's given me is content and visibility. Great, I'm sat here doing a podcast all about content right now, so that fits the bill perfectly. And visibility, because I know, again, that comes into lead generation, people need to be visible, and I do have that as part of mine as well. And then the 5th one it's gone is personal insights and values. So it's saying share your story, beliefs, and what drives you, and this is connection content. So I like that. Yeah, I like to share personal insights. I like to share what I'm up to, what I'm working on, and this will be a really good content pillar for me. And personal insights and values, I would say that are driving to the service of my time rich mastermind, because it's very much about, I'll be talking in that sense about my story and how I've overcome burnout, or running multiple businesses and being organised and having the strategies so that it works both, creating multiple income streams. My belief that we need to work on strategy, but we also need to be in alignment with that strategy, and talking about what drives me, which is freedom. That'll connect, and that does connect to the Time Rich Mastermind. So that links into a service right there, definitely. So yeah, your content pillars need to link into your services as well. The final thing that I believe that you should have on your content bank is a real obvious one, and that's your services. So what I have done on mine is I've got a tab for values, a tab for mission, a tab for my pillars, and then all my other pillars are actually each of my business services, my core ones anyway, because I want to be talking. My book's not on there. I've just noticed my book is not actually on there, so I'm about to add it as we speak. See, there's always ways we can grow and improve. So I've got each of them, and the reason this is really important is because when it comes to business, when you're being strategic, you want to test content out, and you want to see what the stats are. You can repurpose it and tweak it to get it to better perform. So if you save and bank every bit of content about a service, then you can reuse it at a later date when you're selling that service again, and you can tweak it. Or if you're like me with my mastermind this month, I brainstormed so many ideas, but from September I won't be fully focused on the mastermind as such as like I am this month and in August. So I've got way too much content, but that's great because I can use it probably in December when I want to onboard new people in. So it's all about that. It's all about just having more than enough so that you never run out of content. So when it comes to a service, I can go even deeper. I actually take the service and then create pillars for that, because I mean, you can tie it back into your main content pillars, your mission and your values, but ask those questions around that one service. And this is what I have a marketing brief in place for, which again, I've shared with my clients. So I'm going to I'm selling my mastermind right now, my Time Rich Mastermind, right? It's a 6-month group coaching container where every week you are able to be coached one-to-one, but it's in a mastermind, so it's a group Zoom. You have your dedicated spot to be coached, and then you can listen to everybody else, and we can learn so much from that. Clients get so much out of this, right? But I have listed some kind of content pillars for the mastermind, and I'll talk you through them. So I've got mindset and beliefs, and that'll be stuff like beliefs around money, about multiple income streams, earning more, things like that tie into the mastermind. Time and productivity, because they link to organisation, they're getting more specific in terms of organisation. Systems and strategy, I'm just going to talk you through this. Freedom lifestyle, client transformations, because I want to be speaking about exact client transformations that link to the mastermind. Of course I do, if I want to sell it. Mastermind specific content, so this is stuff like what a mastermind is, who the mastermind's for, why I created the mastermind. It might cover the features of it, like the strategic shift in person day that I've just created, things like that, like specific mastermind content. It might be reels ideas that I can bank that I have. Story posts, so like stories on like Instagram and Facebook with like polls or questions, or stories I can tell about the mastermind, which would come under mastermind specific content. Carousels that I can create, emails that I can create, authoritative content. So authoritative piece of content here, I've got one that's like, I've put a title in, here's what consistently happens after just a few weeks with me. That creates authority because I'm talking about what clients get out of working with me. And then I've got money and sales. Is that the last one? I've got messaging, burnout and boundaries, or loyalty and leadership, client experience and service, multiple income streams, thought leadership, clarity calls, quotes. So that's all the pillars I've got on my bank with masses of content under each of those just for my mastermind, so that I am never going to run out of content. Because I think one of the biggest challenges is when you're creating and launching a service and you're so excited to get it out there, the challenge can be that you think, what do I start with? Where do I start? What do I talk about? Whereas if you do this process, it's going to give you more than enough content, and it always feels abundant to have more than enough when it comes to running your business. I'd love to know your thoughts on this episode. Please do reach out. Let me know what you want to see on future podcast episodes, what you want to know next, what other strategies will help you, what other problems you have in your business, so that I can come on here and help you solve it. Let me know. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about creating a strategic content bank for your business, so that you will never run out of content again. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Please rate this podcast episode. Please subscribe, because it helps me grow, and one of my goals at the minute is to grow this podcast and to make it profitable. So I'll share that along the way as well, like how I've done it and what I'm working on, because I love to share that. So yeah, thank you for being here, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. However you're tuning in, please do reach out, share the episode with someone that might find it valuable too, and let me know what you've got out of it. See you next time.